Welcome to Financials with Ahawo. It's a privilege and a joy to be with you again. It's a new month, so it's exciting to kind of think of what we want to talk about. And as I was reflecting on the past 2 months and the journey we've been taking, today it dropped in my spirit that it's good to share about the knowledge that I've picked from the books I've read across these past few years and just how I've been able to learn and what I could share that you can apply. So the first thing I would love for us to talk about is how valuable am I? And I know we've talked about it before, like my net worth, my assets, and things like that. But today I want to look at it from the place of, with the finances in my hands, am I making the most to be able to ensure that my finances are at their best? There's a term which I remember from one of the books I read that really stood out for me, and it talked about under-earning. And I began to just interrogate the term and ask myself, what does it mean to under-earn? And as I read and I came to get a better understanding, I realized the thing they were talking about is something that a lot of us face when the income we have, the profits or the returns we're making, or the financial outcomes of the things we're doing are so below what we could be getting. And I need to make a distinction. This is not the place where someone makes a conscious decision to volunteer, to take a lower income because of a cause they are committed to, or they choose to give time without any income so that they can grow another thing. No, it's not that. It's when you're consciously out to give your best, but the financial remuneration is not commensurate to what you're putting out. And it can be in your business. You're doing the most, advertising the way you think you should, meeting and talking to people in the way you think you should. But lo and behold, there's nothing that the business is bringing that substantial, kind of like constantly being in a break-even point. Or if it's income, you find that over 5-year period, 10-year period, you're still at the same income level, yet your skill set should have increased, your experience has increased. So what does that mean for us then as an individual? How are we going to challenge ourselves so that we can up our game and come into a place of really maximizing and bringing out the value we should? One of the key ways, like for me, I learned to do that, and I'm even still doing that. I began to ask myself, for my level of skill, for my level of experience, for my level of education, with the network that God has allowed me to have, what would someone in this space be making, let's say on a job? For where my business has been, how long I've been doing it, the exposure I've had, what would a business like this be making? How would it be doing the most in terms of returns? And it's not an easy place because you sit down and you realize that there are places that you're falling short. Or you sit down and realize there are places that you've become comfortable. And you're just like, you know what, it pays the bills, I'm happy, let's move on. But today, just as I have challenged myself, I'd like to challenge you. First challenge, against your industry, if you're employed, or if you're in a certain business as a consultant and things like that, like a day-to-day professional engagement, what's the average earning? What are the average benefits with what you have that others around you have? And it's not comparison, that's different, but it's called leveraging or benchmarking. Same thing for your business. A business with the same reach that you have, a business that targets the same market, a business that may have been around for the same time, how are they doing? And you don't only look at one business, because then it becomes really comparison, but you're looking like at a market. What is the market speaking? And where are you in that market? And we've had it said from time to time, if you're not sitting at the table, then you're the meal being served. So you need to be able to understand what is happening so that you're sitting at the table and you're not the meal being served. It's a challenge that when we take, it may make some of us make very course shifts in how we do things. I was speaking to a good friend recently, and one of the things that they faced is they have made a very difficult decision to venture from a position they have held for over 10 years because they realize there's a value level they can get to. And they're not just pursuing finance. Many times we think of value as finance, but they're pursuing even a place where the skills are being applied to the most. Their purpose is being lived out to the most. So they had to make that decision. And what they're leaving compared to what they're going to seems temporal, but it's a step to move into that is enabling them to optimize on their value and to heighten it. So I'm going to close at that, but I'm going to ask you to work on those two things. What are the averages? And where do you measure against these averages? So beyond the averages, first find the averages to know where you fall, and then find what are the low points and what are the high points. Like really understand so that you know precisely where you're placed. And from there, you can begin to make a decision towards moving to the next place. Thank you so much for listening. I'm looking forward to your growth and mine, and just can't wait to continue to challenge us to do more with our finances. Thank you for listening. It's Ahawo.